Hey everyone, and welcome. So, if you've ever found yourself staring down the barrel of a multi-version Umbraco upgrade, you know it can feel, well, a little intimidating. Today, we're going to break it all down and turn that daunting challenge into a super clear, manageable plan. Let's jump in.
You know the feeling, right? You're just trapped in this cycle of broken dependencies, bizarre errors, and a project that absolutely refuses to build, let alone run. Trust me, you are not alone. It's a classic frustration for pretty much any developer trying to navigate these big migrations.
But what if I told you there are a few key tricks that can completely break that cycle? In this explainer, we're going to map out the entire journey from Umbraco 14 all the way up to 17. We're going to give you the tools and the insights to make this whole process not just possible, but actually predictable.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about the upgrade gauntlet, what we're up against. Then, I'll show you your secret weapons to make it way easier. We'll cruise through versions 15 and 16, tackle that big .NET 10 leap in version 17, and then wrap up with 5 absolutely crucial lessons we learned from the trenches.
All right, first up, the gauntlet. You know, before we start talking solutions, we have to be real about the complexity here. It's a series of challenges, for sure, but every single one is solvable. And, as you're about to see, you've probably already cleared the single biggest hurdle. And that's the really good news. Seriously, if you've already made it to version 14, you've conquered the steepest part of the mountain. That jump from 13 to 14 has some of the biggest breaking changes in recent memory. So, the path forward from here? It still has its moments, but it's way, way smoother.
Okay, section 2. Let's get to the fun part. Let's talk about the game changers. These are the secret weapons, the techniques that can completely unblock your upgrade and save you hours and hours of frustration.
So this right here, this is the classic catch-22 of an Umbraco upgrade. Your Razor views are all broken because the models have changed. Okay, simple enough. But to regenerate those models, you need the project to actually run. But the project won't run because, you guessed it, the Razor views are broken. It's this vicious circle that can just bring everything to a dead stop.
And this is the escape hatch. It's actually a brilliant little trick. You just temporarily tell the project, hey, don't even worry about compiling the Razor views right now. That lets the application start up, which lets you get into the back office and, critically, regenerate your published models. Once your models are fixed, then you can go back and fix the views one by one. Problem solved.
And here's the magic spell that makes it all possible. You just pop this little property group into your .cs project file, and boom, you've disabled Razor compilation and broken that vicious circle. This is probably the single most valuable tip in this entire explainer. It lets you tackle the problem in bite-sized pieces instead of trying to fix everything at once.
And here's another pro tip for keeping your sanity. Isolate your problems. Things like custom authentication, they can add a whole other layer of headaches. So the strategy is simple. Just comment it out. Disable it. Focus on getting the core website upgraded first, and then you can circle back and plug things like Microsoft Entra ID back in once the foundation is solid.
All right, let's put these weapons to good use. Now that we have these tricks up our sleeve, the journey through the next 2 versions is going to be so much more manageable. We should be able to move through this part pretty quick. The upgrade to version 15 is, thankfully, a pretty quick hop. The process is really straightforward. Update your NuGet packages, and then when you inevitably see those build errors, you know exactly what to do. Just use that Razor compilation trick again, regenerate your models, and then fix the views. It becomes a repeatable, predictable pattern.
Version 16, though, needs a little more attention. Here are the big breaking changes you need to watch out for. First, the save and publish method on the content service is gone. It's now split into 2 separate methods, save and publish. And you have to specify the culture now. And this is a big one. TinyMCE is officially gone. It's time to migrate over to the TipTap Rich Text Editor. This is also when you'd probably want to bring that authentication provider back online. And now we've reached the final leg of our journey, upgrading to Umbraco 17. This one's a pretty big deal because it's not just an Umbraco upgrade, it's also a framework upgrade all the way to .NET 10.
So here's your checklist. First things first, you got to get your project targeting .NET 10. Then update all your dependencies. You'll probably run into a known ICU runtime error, but don't worry, there's a simple fix for your .csp or .ij file. After you fix a few small breaking code changes, you can run the standard Umbraco upgrade wizard. The very last step is cleanup. Regenerate your models one last time and start tackling any obsolete method warnings.
Okay, we made it through all the technical steps. Now for what I think is the most valuable part of this whole thing, the 5 key lessons we learned from this journey. This is the wisdom you can apply to every single upgrade you do from now on.
Lesson number 1, and this just confirms what we said at the start. The 13 to 14 migration is an absolute beast. With macros getting removed, major editor changes, authentication breaking, this is the step that takes the most effort. Just knowing that helps you prepare mentally and plan your time.
Lesson 2, do not underestimate the power of automation. I'm serious. If you're looking at thousands of content items that need to be updated, don't even think about doing it by hand. Take the time to write a custom migration job. It will save you a ridiculous amount of time and prevent so many mistakes.
Now, I absolutely love the metaphor for Lesson 3, treat your upgrade like a video game. Every time you successfully complete a version jump, make a database backup. These are your save points. If the next step goes horribly wrong, you don't have to start over from scratch. You just restore to your last checkpoint. This is a massive, massive risk reducer.
Lesson 4 is a subtle one, but it's super important. Be ready for weird localization issues. A culture code that worked perfectly fine in an older version might suddenly be considered invalid. It's a really tricky problem to track down, so it's good to just know that this is a thing that can happen.
And finally, lesson 5, and this might be the most important one of all. Don't procrastinate. Upgrading a little bit at a time is always easier than making one gigantic leap. The bigger the version gap, the more breaking changes pile up, and the whole process just gets exponentially harder and riskier.
So, the takeaway here is pretty clear. Putting off an upgrade doesn't make it disappear. It just makes it a much bigger problem for your future self. But as we've seen today, even a huge version jump is totally manageable if you have the right strategy. So the real question isn't if you should upgrade, but when are you going to start?